Corridor Corporation of India for a special address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to Times Network for giving an opportunity to showcase this mega project of Indian Railways, which has been undertaken post-independence. And I also want to thank them to make us a logistic partner. India is the fourth largest railway network in the world. We carry 23 million passengers every day and we load about 1,200 million tons of traffic. But still, there are a lot of issues in our logistics systems that we spend almost 14.4% of GDP on logistic cost, as against logistic cost in developed countries like Germany is only 8%, and US is 8.5%. As a result, we lose $85 billion on logistics. And our ranking as per the Logistic Performance Index is also very low at 44. So there are a lot of issues which I will explain in future. This is the golden quadrilateral of Indian Railways. When Britishers set up this system, this is the golden quadrilateral which a part of expansive 1.3 lakh kilometer of railway network. This particular golden quadrilateral consists of only 16% of total network, but this carries 60% of the total traffic. And in the same golden quadrilateral, the road network is hardly less than 1%, it carries 40% of the traffic. So you can imagine that the entire golden quadrilateral is fully saturated, whether it is a rail network or the road network. And this is one of the reasons that our logistics performance is poor. At the time of independence, railway was carrying almost 86% of the total freight in India, but we made certain logistic issues and it has been reduced to 33% as on today, whereas road network has increased gradually from 14% to 59%. And this is one of the reasons, this is the imbalance which has been created, which has really affected logistics very badly. In first 50 years after the independence, our freight traffic grew by only 400 million tons because initially the progress was slow. But in next 17 years from 2001 onward, our freight traffic has increased by 700 million tons. And now we are carrying almost like 1,200 million tons. And as per the figures given by Niti Aayog, by the year 2022, total freight traffic in India, whether it is carried by the rail or road, will be something around 4,800 billion tons kilometers. And if you want to carry 39% of the freight traffic, we have to carry roughly 1,800 billion ton kilometers. So it's a huge task. Unless we expand our system, we will not be able to carry this. And it has a direct impact on Indian economy. In order to sort out the issue of logistics in India, Ministry of Railway has decided to take up dedicated freight corridors. You can see in this. It's not moving. It's not moving. Excuse me? Not going ahead. Oh, yeah. So in order to solve this problem, Indian Railway has taken this ambitious project of creation of dedicated freight corridors, which connects Delhi to Mumbai, directly right up to JNPT, which is about 1,500 kilometers. And on the right side, there's a red line is right from Ludhiana, passing again through Delhi, and going right up to Sonnagar in Bihar. So these are the two ambitious projects costing something around $12 billion. And I'm very happy to inform you that this is not a dream or this is not a vision. This is going to be a reality very soon in next 2 years. I'm very happy to inform you that on both Eastern and Western corridor, by March 20, we are going to open something around 990 kilometers of dedicated freight corridors. In fact, in some of the sections, like on the Eastern corridor, trains are running on trial, and we have run a lot of trains on both Eastern and Western corridor. See, I will not cover the technical part of it because the audience is not, is not a right forum for that, but like to tell you as a layman that on the Western corridor, because it is connecting all the major ports on the western side like Mundra, Pipavav, Kandla, and JNPT. And it is the order of the day that we need to run double stack container so that we reduce the logistic cost. So we have made our system in such a way that we can carry more and more load. We can run longer trains of 1.5 kilometer long. We can run at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour and get an average speed of about 70 kilometers per hour. And each train will transport something around 13,000 tons, which will be equal to 1,300 trucks on the roads. As far as funding part is concerned, the cost of project is about 12 billion US dollars, which is much less than what we lose in logistic cost, that is $45 billion. So the cost of project is only $12 billion. And the funding is done by World Bank and JICA, and partly it is a Indian Railways equity. Now just see the kind of capacity we are creating, because we have to achieve the target of in 2022, we have to transport something around 1,800 billion ton kilometers. So we are providing the capacity on these corridors to run 120 trains each way, and every train can carry 13,000 tons of load. So you can imagine what kind of capacity is being created. And one more very important thing is that the entire section is fully electrified and automatic. So haulage charges is only 50% of the haulage charges which is there on the Indian Railway. So naturally, this reduction in haulage charges will definitely be passed on to the customers. We are providing a large number of private sidings and freight terminals, and we are also through feeder routes, we are providing connectivity to all the major ports on the Western corridor. And because of this huge line capacity, we will be running timetable trains. The freight trains, like we can start a train from Bombay, say in the evening, and we can reach Delhi next day morning. So with this fast transportation, we can think of start supply chain, and the supply chain and inventory control, etc., can be done. And such a huge infrastructure cannot be created unless we use the modern technology. So I'll cover it in next slides. And one more thing, the last session was on sustainable development. So I'd like to inform you that as per World Bank study, we'll be saving something around 457 million tons of carbon dioxide emission in next 30 years. So as per our COP24 commitments, this project will play a very major role on this. There is one more very significant aspect of this is there is a Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor is coming up. You must be aware of that. So we are giving connectivity to all the nodes of Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor so that industry and the freight network can go together so that we can utilize the full capacity on this. Now what it means to the industry. You can see here, I'll not go to the figures, but you can see that what kind of humongous workload is involved, like 8 million cubic meters of concrete and 11 million concrete of sleepers and million tons of rail. So there's a huge impact on the industry of cement and steel and the earth moving machinery. Now, as far as other electrical and telecom industry is concerned, 6,000 kilometers of copper wire is required for electrification, and similarly 6,000 kilometers of aluminum conductor, and 3 lakh insulators, and large number of auto transformers and optical fiber cable of 6,000 kilometers. We are very sure that we'll be opening all the sections in phased manner. Like this year, we'll be opening about 990 kilometers on eastern and western corridor. And once these 2 corridors will be completed, after commissioning in 2 years, we'll be carrying something around 160 million tons of traffic. And in 30 years' time, we'll be carrying almost 1,200 million tons of traffic, which at present Indian Railway is carrying on their network. Now here you can see both the corridors, and whatever nodes have been shown, these are all multimodal logistic parks, connectivity to ports, and a lot of goods sheds are coming up. And there's a huge potential for the private sector to come up and set up their own businesses on these nodes. These are some of the photographs and videos which will not run here, but we are using all very machineries which are very powerful, and they are we are able to do the work in a minimum time. So all the electrical and signaling work and engineering work is being done by these machines. This is a wiring machine by which lay the wire. 8 kilometers of OHE wire is laid every day. This is how we monitor the progress through drone. This is the finished section between Khurja and Badan, if you know about the eastern corridor. We have run a train, because this video is not running here. We have made an experiment of running heavy haul train carrying 9,000 tons of load and with the 2 locomotives at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. So this will show the future that how the transportation will be done on dedicated freight corridors. This was one of the challenges, because in any linear project, land acquisition is a serious problem. So we are passing through 6 states and 62 districts. And we have acquired 12,000 hectares of land costing 20,000 crores with so many law and orders issues and a lot of court cases. But I'm very happy to inform you that almost 99% land is with us on these corridors, and our works are going on in entire stretches. This is a very important project. This is an extension of Eastern Corridor from Sonnagar to Dhankuni, which is a mineral-rich area. And it has been decided by the government that this project will be done on PPP. It has been bifurcated into 2 parts of 250 kilometers each. Total length is 500 kilometers. So there'll be 2 parts. First part is Sonnagar to Gomo. At Gomo, there are a lot of mines are there. And the IRR of this, the cost of this project is approximately 10,000 crores. And the IRR, which has been calculated by our consultant, PwC, is something around 18%. So it's a very good project for the, I think a lot of fund houses are there, and a lot of fund houses approach us, and they want to know about how this project will impact on the funding and on the economy. So this is a very good project which can be funded. In fact, all our papers are ready. As soon as we'll get the clearance from the government, we'll go for the RFQ and RFP. This is the future of a dedicated freight corridor in India. In fact, we are working on 2 corridors, that is Eastern and Western, which is about 3,000 kilometers. And in future, we'll also take up these corridors like East Coast Corridor, east-west corridor and north-south corridor. The total length will be something around 6,000 kilometers, and the cost will be something around maybe 40 or 50 billion US dollars. So we'll see that next 10 to 15 years, all these projects, we have started working on that. We have started making the DPR, but this is what is required in our country to reduce the, provide a sustainable transportation system and increase the profitability. See, this is what I was telling, that this is not a dream, this is a reality, and these are the real photographs of our operating control center at Allahabad, where all the train operation will be controlled from this operating control center. And I want to tell you that this is the second largest video wall in the world. Okay. So these are some photographs. I will not take time because I have been given a notice to wrap up. So thank you very much for patient hearing. I think this might have not been a right forum because this is a little technical presentation, but I also want to tell you that this project will certainly boost our economy, and it will help us in achieving the goal of 5 trillion economy, which has been given by our Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that.